Hey guys, STTM here. Welcome to another video, and today we got our official March Madness prediction. Oh my god, guys! Yeah, let's go. But first, though, before I get into that, like, subscribe, put on notifications, and comment on this video. It gets me more recommended, and well, you're actually helping me out a lot. So be nice to me and do all that. All right, please. But anyways, though, I'm predicting the March Madness bracket on this little Google sheet. I'm not really. By the way, I won't be making my own pool because I'm not really a pool kind of guy. Like, I usually don't join pools that much. I just do whatever. So there is that. But sorry if I had to if I had to be like the bearer of bad news or something like that. But yeah, let me stop with this Japanese and get straight into the video. Get it, pow! All right, guys. So first off, we got UConn Stetson. This should be pretty obvious. UConn, obviously a better squad. So there is that. Now, next up, we got Florida Atlantic and Florida Atlantic Northwestern. Sorry, guys. I clicked on. I actually got Northwestern. Now, FAU did have that pretty bad loss versus Temple as of recent, and I like Boo Buie a lot better as like a player than Florida Atlantic star Janelle Davis. But that, my nose getting itchy. But I just like Boo Buie more than Janelle Davis. I mean, Boo Buie, I believe, is the all-time leading scorer over at Northwestern. So is that next up? I'm going to have an upset UAB, and then I'll have just Auburn winning that. Now, UAB right here, this is an upset. This is like a huge take because, well, the team was able to persevere through a bunch of teams. I mean, they beat a guy like South Florida, which is actually pretty crazy. And they were one of those bid thieves, and I actually like the bid thieves. Being able to shock everybody in their tournaments respectively. So UAB could shock at least somebody here. But I do actually love San Diego State as a squad. All right, next up, BYU over Duquesne for me. I like Jackson Robinson a lot, so I expect him to be good, and hopefully he gets that draft stock up with a few good games this March. Illinois, I got Washington State. Now, Iowa State is not that vulnerable, right? There's going to be a 15-seed upset. Now, you're probably laughing at me, but it is March Madness. There are a lot of upsets inside the tourney. So, if I scroll down here, I got South Dakota State. I don't know. Iowa State just doesn't have that much experience and is probably the weakest 2-seed in my overall opinion. Next up, UConn over Northwestern, Auburn over UAB, BYU over Illinois. I think this really solidifies what Jackson Robinson could be in the draft. Like this could really show what he is. And then I got Washington State. Now I got BYU and then UConn. I mean, Auburn could upset UConn, but UConn's just been the best team in all of college basketball for a good portion of the season. All right, now next up, we are going to go over to our other region right here. Houston will beat Longwood. I got Nebraska getting upset by Texas A&M. I mean, 9/8 isn't really an upset because that game's supposed to go either way as of most things. I got James Madison with an upset. I don't really know why. I somehow just like James Madison more. Duke is only the 4 seed, even though they got so many guys that could go to the NBA draft. So there's that. Like, for example, like Jared McCain's probably going to get drafted. Kyle Filipowski is going to get drafted. Tyrese Proctor might fall in the draft, or not fall, but I mean like he'll fall to a certain team in the draft. That's what I mean by fall in the draft. NC State, I like that team a lot. I mean, I might have a little soft spot for them because, well, that's my favorite team. But yeah. Next up right here, I got Boise State over Colorado. I got Boise State over Colorado and Florida, bro. Yeah, y'all. So we do If I can just change that to just Boise State at this point. So yeah, sorry, this might take a little time. So that was probably more Japanese. So yeah, Boise State the upset on Florida, and then Marquette. But Tyler Kolek is indeed hurt right now, which is Marquette's best player. Sorry, guys, but he is hurt, so there is that. So that's where I'm gonna have Boise State come in, and then I got Kentucky over NC State. NC State was able to beat a team like North Carolina, but I feel like Kentucky is a little bit different. Because the thing with North Carolina, right, they got the weirdest scenario. They got like a 25-year-old Armando Bacot on the roster, which is pretty old for college wise. So, also, Harrison Ingram, I feel like is also interesting player himself, but we're not at North Carolina right now. So, yeah. Houston over Texas A&M. I'm going to go JMU. I don't think Duke's able to put together all of their NBA draft level players. So then Houston beats JMU, and then Kentucky over Boise. Yes, I got JMU and Boise in my Sweet 16, bro. Purdue beats probably like Montana State or something. Utah State with that win for sure. I got McNeese. This is the most vulnerable Gonzaga team ever. It's one of the weaker ones out of all their March Madness run caliber teams. So there is that. Kansas could suffer an upset because I don't think Hunter Dickinson and Kevin McCullough will be there. Honestly, Johnny Furphy is just a freshman and should honestly just stay again. So I don't think he's going to be able to step up for them. So Kansas does have their star players out. So this opens a door for Samford. South Carolina, honestly, I could see them being upset by Oregon. Now, it is another upset, but the thing about this one, though, Oregon does have some pretty good players like Kwame Evans and Mookie Cook. And also, too, they were able to persevere in a conference that was almost an 100% Arizona guarantee win. And, well, who they beat in the Final Four for the Pac-12 tourney? Arizona. Also, I just think a Pac-12 team or two might as well try to be in the last season for a conference and go off with a bang. Texas with this win right here, and then Tennessee with one. So now we got Purdue going in. McNeese, I'd say, is honestly better than Samford. Creighton, I do think will beat Oregon. Actually, no, I got Oregon. See, Creighton don't got the depth, which I have been hearing from a lot of bracket predictors that Creighton doesn't have depth. While Oregon might not have depth, but if a star team like Creighton doesn't have that much depth, then that's bad. Okay? Then we got Tennessee over Texas right here. Although Dalton Kennett plays too much hero ball for me, but I think Tennessee. Actually, I'm gonna change this to Texas. I feel like hero ball, like you can't rely on anybody else. Like I can't think of anybody else. So there's that as well. And then Houston over Kentucky, and then actually, let me do some changing. My guy. Utah State. I got Utah State in the Final Four. There's obviously going to be at least one wildcard team. North Carolina, Mississippi State. I love Grand Canyon so much, though. How fun their team is. And then I'd have Alabama. And then I'd later have Alabama, New Mexico with the upset on Clemson, then Baylor. And then I got Nevada. I like Blackshear better than Deron Holmes, which is honestly a huge L take if you hear that. But this honestly is just my opinion. Everybody else got their own opinions, which I hope people in the media could realize that. Also, before I go on, I'm going to say a hot take. They should make the March Madness more record based. That's why you got all these snubs, right? Because you should make this a bit more record based. You should still have key factors, like net and Kempom, but you also should make the tournament a bit more like record based. It's kind of confusing with the whole thing, with the whole idea of that. North Carolina, Mississippi State, Mississippi State does. It's kind of like North Carolina. RJ Davis is clearly your best player, and Tolu Smith's clearly the best Mississippi State player. But Mississippi State got some very underrated guys like Cameron Matthews, in my opinion. So there is that. I could see a matchup like that. Mississippi State is Cinderella caliber. But I honestly think that would end right here. Then I think Baylor over New Mexico, and then I got Nevada with an upset. Blackshear is very good, and then I have Baylor. So UConn, Houston, Utah State, and Bama. Now Bama in the Final Four is crazy, but they're not just a football school. Like they're also getting very good at the basketball side as well. So that is a major factor. Now I got Houston over Utah State and then UConn. Now, one of the best offenses versus one of the best defenses. While offense does win you games, my guy, defense wins you championships. Let's go. Sorry about that hype. But yeah, well, STTM is out. See y'all next time. Houston Cougars are my champions once again.